Greetings, YouTubers. We have some interesting developments from Zimbabwe, a country ravaged by a terrible economy, and a man with a dictatorial mindset, Robert Mugabe. Some interesting developments around Zimbabwe's new Prime Minister, and he just bashed socialism and the welfare state. This is huge considering all the big government abuses that have been going on there since Mugabe took over. How did Zimbabwe get in this situation? Socialism and big government power grabs. For example, Zimbabwe's central bank will introduce a 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollar banknote worth about 33 US dollars on the black market to try to ease desperate cash shortages, the state-run media said last week. State-run media. Who wants state-run media? Who wants government oversight of private citizens on their talk show? Let's see. Okay, Zimbabwe's got a state-run media. Sounds good. Hyperinflation, getting back to the article. Again, I'll have all the relevant links on the right side. Hyperinflation has forced the central bank to continue to release new banknotes, which quickly become almost worthless. There is an official exchange rate, but most Zimbabweans resort to the informal market for currency transactions. In addition to the $100 trillion banknote, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe plans to launch a 10 trillion, 20 trillion, and 50 trillion note. Previous issues of new banknotes have done little to curb the cash crunch faced by Zimbabweans, who often line up for hours outside banks to withdraw barely enough to buy a loaf of bread. Sounds good. It's a disaster there. You think our economy's bad. And then we have this. By 1997, Mugabe announced his plan to seize white farms and redistribute the land. 5 years later, Helen Herbst was home eating lunch when an employee rushed to tell her that police were parked at the gate and wanted to speak with her. Sitting at the kitchen table in a couple's apartment in Aden, Helen remembers vividly what happened next. 2 Mazda pickups, bristling with armed police, were waiting for her. Their leaders snatched the gate's keys from the employee and turned to Helen. "This is no longer your property. You have 24 hours to get out," he told her. "If you don't, we'll kill you or put you in jail, whichever you prefer." It was not an idle threat. In 2000, war veterans killed a neighbor after he refused to leave his farm. So Zimbabwe got a state-run media, got government manipulation of the currency, socialism. They're taking the property of private landowners, just seizing it in Kello versus New London fashion. That's Zimbabwe, the Kello decision here. That's Kello on steroids there. But now to the crux of this. Zimbabwe's new Prime Minister said this. Listen. In his inaugural address. "A culture of entitlement and impunity has brought our nation to the brink of a dark abyss. This must end today." Entitlement. "As Prime Minister, I make this commitment that, as from the end of this month, our professionals in the civil service, every healthcare worker, teacher, soldier, and policeman will receive their pay in foreign currency until we are able to stabilize the economy. These hard currency salaries will enable people to go to work, to feed their families, and to survive until such time that we can begin to sustain ourselves as a country." So maybe we have some change coming to Zimbabwe. And some real hope and change, if you will. And this man sounds like this man should be running the entire country. Mugabe needs to leave office. He's killed his political opponents. He's harassed them, thrown people in jail. Big government doesn't work. And that's what Zimbabweans practice. They practice big government, socialism, taking people's property, and it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. Zimbabwe is a mess. It may arguably be the worst country in the world to live in.